Centralized power in just about any form is the biggest danger to humanity. I know I talk a lot about government centralization of power, but there are other forms of centralization of power that we need to be very, very keenly aware of, as they are just as big, if not bigger, threats than centralized government. Why is centralization of power the most dangerous thing to humanity? Well, because the people that seek power are typically evil. Typically, these very people that are seeking to control everything, they're doing it for their own megalomaniac reasons. They're doing it because they are psychopaths and sociopaths, and they believe that they know what's best for everybody else. So, let's say you have a system that starts off with good intentions, you have good leadership positions filled, everything's going hunky-dory, right? And, the next thing you know, you've got a crazy tyrannical dictator that has taken the role, taken the reins of power, and then you're all screwed. And this is exactly the case with the food chain. And right now, during the cerveza bug, we are facing a food chain domination. Now, what's going on, and the reason why I'm making this, is the Impossible Foods CEO says that the meat industry will be obsolete in 15 years. That's our mission. Now, I know there's some of you out there that are vegetarian or vegans, and that's great. I respect your decision. I personally don't feel that that's the healthiest way to go. I'm a big believer in the fact that humans need meat, but that's not the point here, because the point is the food chain and the evil psychopaths that want to control it all, including what the vegetarians and vegans are eating. So, why is this important? Well, the ingredients of both the Impossible Burger and the Beyond Burger are deadly. They're not just dangerous, they are deadly. They are filled with cancer-causing materials, including glyphosate, Roundup. They are all full GMO products, and they're very dangerous to human health. They are estrogen mimickers, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but from what I understand, high amounts of soy can get you some nice man boobies, right? And can really put a damper on human health. So these things are dangerous to eat in large amounts, but they want us to eat only their food products. And I mentioned the other day, Bill Gates and his other billionaire tyrants, Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett and all the guys, they've got big investments into all this fake meat stuff. Not only that, but Bill Gates is a huge, huge investor in Monsanto. So the amount of not just power, but control and domination that a person can gain from controlling the entire food chain, well, that's a pretty big deal. And it's a double whammy for Bill Gates, right? So it's a double whammy. He gets to make money when he sells the burgers and all the fake meat products, and he gets to make money when Monsanto grows, which Monsanto controls the vast majority of the food supply chain in the entire world. Their chemical weed killer, Roundup or glyphosate, is on everything. It is almost impossible to avoid glyphosate. It's on all of our crops. It's on everything. It's even in factory farmed meat. It's in children's food, it's in oats. Even things that claim to be organic are filled with glyphosate. And as you know, glyphosate has finally come out. Everybody's been saying this for years. We've been talking about glyphosate causing cancer for years. But now it's finally coming out. They're losing court cases, and it could be a serious thorn in the side of Monsanto. But this organization is so big, and the world's population depends on them to get food, and so the government will not let them go down. As many people I've heard talking about how Monsanto's gone, Bayer's gone. It's just not. They're too big to fail, and they will not go down. They are relied on way too heavily by people to get food. And then it's funny. So I just wanted to I just wanted to bring this up, factcheck.org. I've talked about the fact-checked websites before. I know James Corbett's been talking about this quite often recently, but these fact-checked websites, Snopes and FactCheck and PolitiFact and all these other ones, these are basically just defense organizations for the billionaire elite New World Order class. That's what they are. Their job is to dispel anybody and anything that would be questioning the actions of the tyrants, right? So they're all linked up with Bill Gates, Gates Foundation, and all the different foundations. That's how they get their money, right? And we know we know that Gates and all the other billionaires, they control the media as well. So this is just a propaganda website. That's all this is. So anytime somebody wants to bring up, oh, fact check, oh, I checked Snopes, I checked that. The only thing you can really do is explain that simple fact that I just stated and then laugh, right? If people are getting their information from these websites, they are completely unaware of what's going on with our reality. And, you can really just kind of shrug and laugh. That's all you can really do. So the question, does the herbicide glyphosate cause cancer? There is evidence to suggest it may cause cancer at very high doses, but not at the low doses typically found in foods. Oh, okay, so it's just fine. It's just fine, right? You can drink it like water. That's what the CEO said at one point. So Bill Gates has a huge vested interest in getting rid of meat and pumping up GMO products, fake meats, and getting everybody on board. And it's funny because he will claim that it's to protect the environment. But if you look at Bill Gates' portfolio, and this is just a portion of it, he invests in some of the largest, most environmentally destructive companies in the entire world, okay? And they're definitely not sustainable. Like waste management, that's not sustainable. Walmart, I find this one really interesting, that somebody that claims to be all about climate change and health and everything would support Walmart. Walmart's one of the most destructive corporations in the entire world, and yet Bill Gates owns quite a large portion of Walmart. Then, of course, UPS, FedEx delivery, package delivery organizations, Amazon, Coca-Cola, well known for, stripping rainforests all over the world. Apple known for their slave labor and their employees having to have their buildings surrounded by suicide nets because the work conditions are so terrible. Then, of course, Google, all the normal, like Twitter. So, it's just interesting that people will be like, well, Bill Gates is a good guy. He just cares about public health. Well, his investment portfolio would say the absolute opposite. Now, why is it dangerous that these people want to get rid of meat and control the entire food chain? Well, in the West, 1 in 2 people will get cancer. That means that myself or one of you that is watching this right at this moment, I'm talking to you, Joe, or whoever you are, one of us is going to get cancer, 50%. And guess what? There's no cure for cancer. It's one of the biggest health problems in the entire world. You don't hear Bill Gates talking about that. No, because they don't care. Cancer, in my opinion, that's all by design. They love that everybody's getting sick and getting cancer. Because guess what? These billionaire people, they're not eating what they want us to eat. They're eating nice, organic, high-quality foods, fresh, slaughtered, organically raised, grass-fed beef. That's what these people are eating. They're not eating what they tell us to eat. They're not drinking soy milk. They're not doing that. They're eating the good stuff. And not only that, but when it comes to medical treatment, medical care, they're using other medical treatment and medical care as well. But they'll tell us that we need to go and get chemo and radiation treatment and all the other stuff that just doesn't work when it comes to cancer and everything, right? So it's just really interesting. And the anti-meat propaganda has been ramping up for quite some time. And it goes in hand with the cerveza bug, right? Americans on cusp of meat shortage with food chain breaking down. So that was one of the pieces of propaganda they had. And when you centralize power, like I said at the beginning of this video, they can do whatever they want. If they want to crush the food chain, the government or corporations that are in charge of it, They could do so tomorrow. Within a week, we could all be starving. We could all be out of food. And I'm not trying to be a fearmonger, but this is reality. They could starve us all out almost instantaneously. It would be so quick, nobody would have any idea. Remember when the cerveza bug happened and all the shelves were empty? There was the fake toilet paper shortage, and then they were telling us there's a meat shortage, a milk shortage, an egg shortage. They can take out our food supply like that. And there's nothing we could do about it at this point in time. They just have complete and total control of it. But Bill Gates and his cronies, they want total and complete control of it. They want to get rid of organic. They want to get rid of cottage farms, private farmers, things like that. That's why you see companies like Tyson and, the factory farming companies just buy up all the small farmers. That's why you see every single produce farmer in the United States anyways that's under complete and total control by Monsanto. You have to buy your seeds from them. You have to buy their products. You're almost forced to if you want to stay in business. So this is a grave threat to humanity. And of course, when it comes to the food that they're pushing on us, it's the most unhealthy stuff that you can eat. Let's just say that a vegan lifestyle is more safe and it's more healthy for humans. It could be. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. But if it is, in order to even maintain a vegan diet, you would have to eat tons and tons of GMO product. Soy, corn, peas, all this stuff just slathered with cancer-causing glyphosate. So we are we do have a serious health epidemic in this country and in the West, and it's cancer. But they don't talk about that, right? We have a few shill fraud organizations like, the Pink Ribbon Breast Cancer Organization, the American Medical Association, and all the different cancer organizations, all scams, just like the Bill Gates Foundation and all the other foundations. They're all scams. They're all crony scams where people get to sit in a position as CEO and make ridiculous amounts of money, and then they get to not pay taxes on it and get called a charitable organization while they give just a sliver of their money to various organizations. And when they do actually act charitable, well, it's a big write-off for them, and then they get to pass that money around to their cronies, and so it's just a giant scam. There's really no charities in this country that you can donate to and be like, you know what, my money's going to a good place. Very, very few. They're all corrupt, just like everything else. The entire system. Government, NGOs, charities, foundations, corporations, all corrupt, all totally corrupt, and they all work together to subjugate us and destroy our health. So, that being said, my opinion is people should be planning for lockdown number 2, for pandemic 2, as Bill Gates likes to call it, and it would probably be a good idea to get as much food, storable food, that you possibly can, and make sure that you're prepared for it this time, because this time, people just might starve out. And like I said, I'm not a fearmonger, but you see what's happening. This is reality. This is what we're dealing with. So everybody needs to wake up, start spreading the truth, and just try to get the normal people in your life that live, under the flickering light of the TV telling them what to do. Try to reach some of those people. It's worth it. Even if they call you names or get mad or whatever, it's worth it, because really what's at stake right now is the freedom of humanity. That's really what's at stake here, the future generations, because right now we are at a turning point. And if we don't do something, if something doesn't change, if people don't wake up, we are going to be under a complete one-world government totalitarian control system forever. Once it happens, once it's too late, and it could be too late right now, there's going to be a really, really next to no chance of things turning back around towards individual freedom. It's just going to be almost impossible, because the technology that they use to control everything, including our minds, is so advanced and so far ahead of anything that they're even telling us right now that we won't be able to fight it. Children will be born and they will be completely mind controlled from birth to death, and they won't even know it. People won't even have any clue. At least right now, there's still a chance that people can wake up. So, with that being said, what do you guys think? Am I being a fearmonger about the food supply, or or a bunch of psychopaths trying to take everything over? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button and share the video if you don't mind. Subscribe if you don't already.